Hey everyone, welcome to my channel again. It is Dr. Lin here. I'm going to be talking about the winter time, the kidneys, and the water element today. And we're going to focus on the emotion of the kidneys, which is fear. And oftentimes it's associated with shock and trauma. And also, when we talk about the emotion, there's also the other spectrum of emotion. So when there's fear, there's courage, there's will, there's determination, there's a inner spark within each one of us that has us go and do the things that we are here to do. So in this video, we are going to dive into all of the topics of why the kidneys are important, the symbolism behind wintertime from a Chinese medicine, Chinese philosophy perspective, and we're going to dive into the holistics of the water element. So we're going to talk about the physical health, the mental, emotional, and spiritual health of the kidneys, of the water element, and I'm going to give you 3 tools to integrate into your life, your self-care. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about the water element. Did you know that in traditional Chinese medicine, they related each emotion that we have, our base emotions, our 7 emotions, to our organ systems? This is so fascinating to me. It's always been a topic that lit me up because I wanted to know deeper into the psychology, like into our own human behavior. And traditional Chinese medicine helped me bridge that with the energetics. It helped me bridge that there's more that's happening beyond the physical physiology and anatomy that I was learning in school. I took a lot of biology, I took a lot of anatomy classes and physiology classes, but I wanted to know energetically what was happening to the body. When we talk about emotions, we want to think about emotions as energy in motion. We want to think of it as everything is energy. Like Einstein had said, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. It can be changed. It can be alchemized. It can be moved and brought into different areas, right? And the same thing applies within Chinese medicine. I really feel that as quantum physics expands, Chinese medicine is going to become more highlighted because the ancient Chinese, the ancestors of this medicine, the practitioners knew that when we talk about an energetic level, when we talk about body from an energetic level, we start to understand that it applies to not only the body, but into nature itself, into the world, into society, to culture, to like all the things. And so today we're going to talk about, let's first talk about like the water element and what the water element means. So in Chinese medicine, we use something called the 5 element system. We use this as a way to understand what's happening in the body. And each element, there's 5 elements, it relates to an organ system. So we have fire, earth, metal, often known as air. Metal goes into water, water goes into wood. Each one of these elements have an organ that are also connected to emotions. We're going to talk about the water element in this video and talk about the importance of the kidneys because each organ system has an important function. It has an important energetic for the body to then function properly, for us to be in health, for us to feel happy. And so let's dive deeper into the kidneys and why the kidneys are important. The kidneys, from a traditional medicine perspective, we're thinking of the kidneys as this organ system that helps to filter through water, that gets in touch with water. It helps to detox water. So it's really helping us bring water through the body, filter water, clear water, purify water. And it's also at the same time energetically helping us move water through the system to help clear out our energy channels, to help bring water to where it needs to go, to help communicate with different areas of the body. I also want to say, because energetically, the kidneys are the organ that is connected to fear, it's connected to shock and trauma. It is known and is said that the organ system itself is important for releasing or being a part of creating that emotion. The reason why that happens because in traditional Chinese medicine, they say that the spirit level of the kidney, so the spirits that live inside of each organ system, is responsible for helping to express that emotion and express the spiritual function of each organ systems. And we're going to dive deeper into that as well. But the important part of the kidneys is that it has this very special, important, vital function to clear out, filter the energy, filter the water of the body, because we are mainly majority created out of water. And so the kidneys have that really special function of being the organ system that gets in touch with the water, sends it throughout the body, and is also very connected to the heart system. So when the kidneys and the heart are in balance, then there's a balanced energy to a person. There's a balanced amount of boundaries. There's a balanced amount of energy flow from the heart and from the kidneys. So that might look like, from a physical perspective, a healthy blood pressure. So oftentimes when the kidney and the heart are not communicating properly, that might even show up as somebody wanting to close off their heart, wanting to hold on to things that were difficult for them or difficult experiences, and sort of operating and seeing the world in that way. It can even look like as hypertension, or different ways that there is water and the pressure of our body is not in balance. So this is also another really important function of the kidneys, is that it keeps the water pressure, keeps water in balance in the body. And another level, when we can talk about water and talk about the kidneys, we can talk about yin, because yin energy, which is the opposite of yang, yin energy relates to our fluids. It relates to the substance, the denser substances in our body, whereas qi is very much related to the energy. It's related to the more ethereal, the more abstract, right? It's kind of like the invisible force that moves all things, whereas yin is actually like, we can see it, we can touch it, we can feel it. It's our fluids, it's our substance. Our yin is often related most to the kidneys. It's the most yin organ out of all of the organs, because it has this really special relationship with water. And so when our kidneys are not in balance, our yin will often be out of balance as well. So it's important, when we are nourishing our bodies and nourishing our deep body, our waters, we are making sure we're diving into yin, activities that are more yin in nature, resting, regenerating, like taking things slow, really getting present, feeling a sense of flow throughout your day and your activities, like moving and living and dedicating your life to the flow, right? Feeling what that flow is, what things kind of draw you more into flow, into more creativity, into more intuition. Those are all things that the spiritual aspect of the kidney represent as well. So when our kidneys energy is not strong, we might have signs and symptoms of, weakness, feeling low back pain, fatigue, just feeling more tired, more burnt out, more overwhelmed. You could also see physical symptoms like difficulty holding urine, difficulty sleeping, waking up a lot when you are sleeping. There's things that might point us in the direction of, it might be more of the water element kidney. But again, you want to make sure that you're getting advice from like a professional, you're getting advice from an acupuncturist, somebody who is steeped in this knowledge, before even diving into any like sort of diagnosis or thinking or putting yourself into these different categories of what could be. And trust me, when you're in Chinese medicine school, you are always doing that. You're like, oh, I definitely have this, and I definitely have this, and I definitely have that. But first, it's really important, as they say, to see somebody else, to have it be reflected to you by somebody else based on their own interpretation, as well as like bringing it into your own filter and kind of like allowing yourself to marinate on things that I'm saying, because some things might point out and be like, whoa, that really resonates, and some things might not. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So let's dive a little bit deeper into wisdom, the wisdom of the winter element, the wisdom of the water element, because it's October 30th today, as we're moving into the end of the year, this end of the year oftentimes has this energy of like closing out a chapter, like endings. And also with endings, there are beginnings. So that energy of endings, that energy of more wintertime energy where you want to go more inwards, where you're more introspective, where you're reviewing the rest of the year so you can kind of encapsulate what were the big lessons that you learned so you can take it into the next year and sort of rewrite and retransform how you're going to show up into the next year. The winter time is very much about that kind of internal process of rethinking, reviewing, observing the inner workings where we're going inward and we're thinking about our resources. We're learning to conserve our energy more during times where it's, weather might be harsher or the environments that we're around or in might be a little bit, we might want to change our energy and our relationship with these things during our time. And oftentimes that happens if you're in the northern hemisphere. Like, I'm from California, and so we oftentimes have this spirit of energy that changes during that time where you're feeling like Halloween come and you're feeling all those like end of the year activities and holidays come. You start to feel that kind of spirit of change happening. And also at the same time, the ancient Chinese, the Taoists of this medicine looked outside to nature and said, okay, nature is changing. The energy is more cooler. We're getting fresher air, right? The land is changing, and so the energy of which we are in is also changing. So it's important to just take note of the environment and how the environment is changing, because those same changes are happening internally on some sort of level. So when we are experiencing a winter outside, we can also harmonize ourselves and align ourselves with that energy of winter and go along with that. Do the movements, the activities that are aligning with that same energy flow of what's happening around us. Like really harmonizing and being in alignment with the seasons is a way to restore balance and health with your life and in the life around you. Let's dive into what the winter is teaching us. So it's really teaching us rest and reflection and regeneration. And Chinese medicine, it is this time where, a lot of animals are going inwards. They're taking time to be still and to replenish and to restore themselves and to prepare for the next season. And so, for us as beings who are taking moments to take more time on our own and just review what has happened in these last year, so that way we can take those lessons, we can understand where we need to conserve our energy, what things and energies that we need to release in order for us to prepare for the rebirth of spring into the next year. So that brings me into talking about the 3 different levels of the kidney or the water element. So let's just talk just about the physical, because in traditional Chinese medicine, we know the kidneys as sort of the root of life. It is the root of our vitality. It is the root of our energy, our base energy. It is also known, our kidney energy. Part of our kidney energy comes with our essence. Our essence is known as Jing, which is known as the energy that is passed on from our parents. And this energy is going to create our DNA, our bones, our development throughout our life. It's also going to be really connected to the menstrual cycle, the inferidian cycle, and the menstrual blood for people who have a menstrual cycle. And it's also important for fertility and creating life. And at the same time, it's very much connected to our ability to respond to life and interpret life. And oftentimes, if we go through really difficult experiences or have had traumas in our life, then our essence, our kidney chi will get taxed. It will get impacted on. So it's important as we are moving through our life to really nourish ourselves or nourish our kidneys through rest and taking these times to align with the winter. And I also want to say we might even go through our own cycles of winter. Like if you're someone that has a menstrual cycle, the menstrual cycle is a microsystem or sort of like a micro cycle that's happening within like the greater cycles of that are happening around us. So let's just say you're on your menses. Day 1 is your winter cycle. Day one is the cycle of which you go inwards, you slow down, you become more present, you listen more to your intuition, you listen more to your flow and the flow that your body needs. So that is your inter-winter, right? And then going into your follicular phase after that is your inner spring. It's like your awakening. And during the time, more your hormones are changing. Your hormones are changing according to what your body is needing. And the hormone changes will then create more energy in the body, create more ability to be more outwards during that time. So we have these seasons in our own bodies, and it's important to reconnect with those seasons, because as we're connecting to our seasons, we're becoming more aligned with our own personal cycles, and that is also such a beautiful way to align to your mind body health. So when we're diving into the physical aspect of our kidneys, in Chinese medicine, that's what the kidneys represent. They have this really important function to filter water, detox water, move water, regenerate water in the body, regenerate yin. And a big part of our lifestyle is nourishing our yin, right, in order to nourish our kidneys. Let's talk about the emotional level of the kidneys, which the kidneys help to manage fear. And then also I had spoke about how the spirit of the kidneys are going to be a part of bringing out the energy of fear, helping us interpret it, helping us also harness those virtues, or those special qualities that the kidneys have, that we each all have, which is the spirit of courage and determination and will to do something that feels really connected to what we're here to do. So on an emotional level, we can know that when our kidney is in balance, it might be that we have experienced an excess amount of fear, either internally from our own experience or from our own thoughts, or externally from a trauma or a difficult experience, or a difficult conversation, right? So that could also be one way that we experience emotion, and the kidneys are a part of that process. And then on a spiritual level, the spirit of our kidneys is really important to transform that fear into courage, into harnessing that deep, deep courage, that deep, wisdom that's in our bodies, that comes down from our essence, the wisdom that our parents instilled in us. And then also a deeper level of the kidneys is that it's very much connected to our ancestral energy. Like that kidney Jing essence is very much connected to our ancestry. So we can also harness that Jing, that ancestral essence, to start to inspire in us courage and will and new ways of thinking and new ways of, navigating our energy, and bringing water into different places and regenerating our yin, which is so, so, so needed now more than ever. So when we start to think about the kidneys in this way, like the water element this way, on a physical, emotional, and spiritual aspect, it's really important, because we know that the kidneys are not just this one thing, right? It does so many things. When we have the awareness, it can be our power, right? So let me share with you some practical tools to help nourish your kidney health and your soul care. So, nourishing the kidneys with supportive food is really, really important. So, making sure that we're eating foods that are warming during times where it's cold, colder weather, winter times, right? Making sure we're eating warming spices like ginger, turmeric. You can also eat things that are black in nature, so like blackberries, black beans, walnuts are really, really great warming spices. Cinnamon's also a really great one as well. I love star anise, which is also an amazing warming herb. And these foods are going to be really helpful for you during times, during the water element times. But also, if you think about, if you're someone that has a menstrual cycle, if you think about your winter season, during that time, your inner winter, you're going to want to become a little bit more slow with your body, presence your body, eat more warming foods during this time, because our menstrual cycle can be susceptible to more colds, right? Like the ancient Chinese classics talk about how there's times when your womb space, your uterus can be open to more cold. If let's just say we go into a cold pool, or if we sit in like a cold lake or something, during that time, we really want to make sure that we're being careful when we are going into cold spaces. We want to protect our womb space. We want to protect our menstrual cycle during that time as well. So, and a second thing is during the winter time, we want to just get gentle movement, really like bring more movement and nourishment to your body, making sure you are moving your body during this time and not getting stagnant. It's also the same thing for your menstrual cycle during your inner winter, your menses. What's happening energetically for the womb cycle, and I'll actually do another complete different video on the womb cycle itself, but something that's really important is that we are actually moving blood through the body, and it's moving out old energy. So it's lightly moving out energy. What do we want to do? We want to align with the energetics of the time. So we also, at the same time, during collective winter season, we want to just gently move the energy. And it can be just doing our own gentle, nourishing, restorative practices, Tai Chi, Qigong, just slow yoga, things that can help us just like stimulate our chi, our life force energy, but without like really depleting ourselves, which is really, really important. And another thing here is with energy, with emotions, it's important to move. Like movement is really important for moving emotions, especially when we're processing an emotion. If like something is coming up like grief or sadness or anger, it's important to move your body while you are thinking of those things, while things are coming up, because it's helping us move chi through our body. It's helping us move energy that needs to be in motion to continue to move, right? The third tool is going to be doing any ritual practice, reflective practice that can help you release fear. So one of my favorite things to do is taking a candle, or creating a campfire, doing it very safely, right? Fire safety is a thing here. We want to create a ritual. So sort of invoking in a space where you can say, this is my safe space. I'm calling in maybe a spirit guide, an ancestor who has the highest intention for me, to be here with me, to kind of witness me while I release fear, or I detox fear, and I let go of this thing I'm here to let go of. And allowing fire to be a big part of that medium of releasing for you. So writing down a thought or behavior or thing that you want to release, writing it down and releasing it into the fire, allowing yourself to witness that, allowing your spiritual team to witness that, and also sitting in mindfulness and meditation with that experience could be really, really powerful as well. So I hope that these tools help to support you to understand more about the kidneys, to help you understand more about the water element, the winter and what it's here to teach us, and also a little bit about your own inner winter cycles, because we each all have them. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today and honoring your own kidney, your own water, your yin. And if you liked any of this, please stay connected and nourish yourself during this season. And I'll see you until next time.